Thank you so much. So I'd like to call us to order, and we'll start off with roll call. Tracy Parker.
Commissioner Bergdorf.
Riley Barker.
Larry Hinton.
Mike Bryant.
Erica Grammer. So we do have a quorum. We would like to welcome Eric Sittler, our legal director here. So thank you, law director. And then also would like to welcome, I do see some of our library directors, so welcome. That reminded me. It's a good reminder for everybody to turn off the sound for their phone.
I got a text from Paul McCoy, and he is at work. He will not be able to make it.
He will not
And he
be.
did not have his commissioner, whatever, he didn't have his county email, so he couldn't get in touch with
Okay.
you otherwise.
Well, thank you. And I did not see anything from my brain. Steve, thank you. My brain just went blank. Did anybody see or hear anything from him? I do know that Pam ended up having to be out of town. But we have quorum. So, and then invocation. Mike, would you like to pray?
Sure. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you in Jesus' name. We thank you, Lord, for today. We thank you for this group of people that have come from various parts of the county to be with us and just support us. We thank you for that, Lord. We thank you for guiding us and directing us, and we just give you this time together, and we ask you to just bring your wisdom and your grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right. Well, excuse me while I feel a little bit scattered because I came in very last minute because of some traffic issues. If I am jostling around, I feel that's very rude, but I do want to say I'm sorry for my jostling during the meeting. So the next thing on here is approval of the agenda. We do have, I know there is something that I'm needing that was requested to be added. Once again, this jostling, so please excuse me.
It's the Westmoreland's $133.
Yes. So, sorry, Angie was coming to mind. Angie had requested that we put in just something in our agenda to be able to look at her shift. It's a line shift. I think most of you probably got to see it. I know it was sent out, and I made sure it was where you guys saw it in your packet. So I would entertain a motion to add that to the agenda.
Second. I'll make a motion to include that in the agenda.
So we will make that, let's just put it as A and just shift everything up from there.
Which one?
Sorry, new business A, so 8A, and that will make everything else
Shift down.
Shift down.
I would like to make a motion that we move the collection development policy to a study session in April, or you could call a committee meeting for us to meet as a committee to look at that. This is not a policy that we have developed as a board and it has to come from committee. So I would like to make a motion to move that to April as a study session.
I'll
So that
second.
as a group together, we can come up with what we want it to be.
I will second that.
So that opens to discussion, and I hear the thoughts behind that, but I do know that there's a lot of people present for this, and it has been put out there for this to be on this agenda.
We've already voted on this or a version of this for almost a full year, 4 different times. And this is
I
no
do need you
longer
to
ours.
go back to the raising of hand to be acknowledged. So if I was speaking at that time, I will go ahead and let you speak here, but I will continue what I was saying in a moment. For me, there is a lot of confusion that comes around this because it has been brought up multiple times. There were requests that there be an official legal looking at. They've seen it before when it was being proposed before, but legal, what was presented this time as part of the proposal was legal. The law director's office took a look at it. They had suggestions of wordings and things like that. It was not anything that was being questioned about the legality. It was just, different wordings. I mean, I came prepared to share. There were other requests that it be finessed a little bit and the wording be, and that was at our,
From our board meeting.
I want
some
to
of
say
our
it was
board
October
meeting.
30th meeting. I think it was at that one, but so but that is what, because we don't have committees, we are meant to discuss these things. And so, I mean, I've come prepared to discuss it. I know that the public has come ready to discuss it. So, I mean, that's why this is not trying to beat this subject up. This is fulfilling and following through what requests were from our board members at October 30th. I believe it might have been November, but I want to say it was an October 30th meeting. And so this is a following through with what was requested.
We also spoke, I believe, in the January meeting about having study sessions to be able to look at a priority list of things that we wanted to address. And this was one of the topics that came up as well. But we have not sat down as a group and started with what is currently the bylaws and go through. What you're wanting us to vote on today was not something that was constructed by this board, and it's been voted on ad nauseum. So I think we need to start fresh. It's not following policy at this point because committees end in a year's time and start over in the fall, and we are all committees. That's what we voted to do. So, I mean, I motion that we table this and discuss this in April, and we can vote on it in May. Take it a year.
I'll
full
put it up
circle.
for vote in just a moment, but I do want to, some of what you just said is not necessarily true.
Okay.
It is not going against how things are meant to happen in our board. Now, taking committees out does complicate it. That was not my choice.
No.
That was a much extra step, I think. This is actually following a very healthy route of conversation to bring it to the table and discuss this. I presented two proposals, one that has, that if it's in black and white, it is what's in the action. And if it is in yellow, it was being proposed, just a proposal of new wording. And that version is actually what the law director's office looked at, and that is where the comments came in. And so, I mean, I've presented the information we're supposed to present so that we can have a conversation and discuss this the right way, the legal way, the healthy way for our board to function without committees.
We voted that we would all be the committees, that we could have committee meetings outside of normal meetings, just like the smaller committees would meet. And it was in an effort to be transparent and cooperative with each other about the things. And it is very obvious that this policy has some very contingent things that we need to discuss as a group and us as a group make it say what we can come to agreement on, not rehash something that's a year old almost, that we voted on 4 times already. I really would like for us to have a fresh start with a fresh look, just us on the board as it is.
I would like to ask from the start that we not have a lot of extra comment from out here, please. Because the hmms and the extras, they are distracting for me, and it's distracting from this board. So I would like to keep that to a respectful listening mode, okay, please? And that's all the sides, okay? And I'm grateful y'all are here.
That's just how I feel about it, Jessica. We can take it
Yes.
I'm in agreement with Tracy because we have about 6 different versions of those policies. We had a green version in May, we were brought extra versions in July, another version in August. Whatever was voted on in October was different. Then we got an email from the law office with a new version with all the red in it that none of the public has seen. So what we
Until I put it out to the public.
And
I
it
do want
was-
to say it has
it
been put out
was
to the public.
already redlined on the red. So what they didn't see was the middle.
No. There is whatever's in black and white is the policy. Whatever's in yellow is the proposal that they also took and just put their red suggestions on.
And then what we got
That
was.
has been transparent, and that has been
And then what
rightfully
we've
put
got
in front of
is
the public.
redlined on the red.
Yes, that was their suggestion to redline that. So if it's redline, if it's red, if it's any red, it's from the law office. So it's not a lot of versions. There's the black and white version. No, it's not. That's why I only put these out, because I'm being very transparent and trying to be very clear. The black and white is policy. The yellow is the proposal that was brought forth. That is the copy, the one copy that they used to make their suggestions on. They're the ones who redlined it or wrote in red. There's only that. And so there's not, I understand what you are trying to portray. I'm simply trying to clarify there is only this version that I am bringing forth that is to be discussed and talked about. I do have suggestions to that or thoughts to that, but it is coming off of what we've gotten to see. And I wanted to honor the effort that our law office went to give us the red part of this.
That is their job to
Right.
help. It's the law offices. It's not
It is their job. I
necessarily
still
our
can
job
honor it.
to honor their hard work. They get paid to do these things.
I understand that, but I'm saying I think we all should be honored for efforts that we give, and I'm honoring that. Yes.
Seems like a nice seat.
Gonna hang out up here with us?
This current group has never discussed this issue as a group. We got new members, it's never sat in a group discussion about this.
Right.
So don't you think it would be reasonable and wise to have the current group in a collective meeting and hear everybody's input at one time?
Yes, that is what I'm trying to do today.
I think it's just too big a bite to chew.
The other issues are very small. That is why I chose for today, where we can vote, not putting it off further, not putting it off to a meeting that is a non-voting meeting, not putting it off to other things. That's the only, I'm agreeing with you I'm sitting here with that effort of us as a board getting to put our hand to this. That is what y'all asked for. That is why I put it on the agenda today. And my opinion to your question is yes. That is what I'm trying to do today. Yes.
So, we've had several public commenters from the public say they would like it to be taken in small bites. That's public record. Mr. Wasilowski has suggested that we take it in small bites. So are we in a hurry to do this? are we going to get in trouble if we don't approve this policy today?
No, I've just heard a lot of the backlash and sassy comments, so whether it's from public or from this table, that it's taken a year to do something that we've been trying to work on. This is something that I don't think that we're going to get in trouble, and I don't think that this is something that, no, there's not a rush, but I do think that this should be completed instead of just getting bounced down, bounced down, bounced down. Because I've watched that as a person who sat on this board for the last year, I have watched that happen. And I do want to also say for the record, this has not ever gotten denied. This has never gotten rejected. This has never been the many words that I get to hear regularly. This has just not passed. There is a difference when it comes to just regular workings of this. So when there is a tie, or when it gets bounced down further to another month and another month and another month, that is not it being denied or rejected. That is just a part of the process of how policies and voting and all the things go. So us having the conversation, I'm simply trying to finish something. I've had board members at meetings say, I would like legal to have their hand at it. Legal had their hand at it. I would like for us to work together. We are working together. I have heard I would like us to work on the wording and the finessing of it. That is what I'm projecting and wanting to do today. So if we do vote I won't be we. If this is voted to be bounced away yet again, then I still will allow these people to get to speak to it. Because I
Absolutely.
will honor what they are here for.
Absolutely.
No matter what their opinion is.
Right, absolutely.
But bouncing things
I just feel like
down
it's
the
too
track
big.
just makes it keep coming back up. And y'all want to complain about it coming back up, but it gets bounced. So
I think the complaint is that we all haven't gotten to work together on it, if there was a complaint.
well, that is
Because-
what this is an attempt of. But
It's
But a
y'all,
work
to do
study
in a
where we
meeting
can sit
where it
and
is our
work
own
together.
focus.
The February work study was fabulous. I think the public was pleased with the February work study. I think this board can work together well and come to a genuine group policy. This is not a group
I would
policy.
want- I
Who
want
wrote the
that.
original policy?
so
All the yellow. Who
Just-
did that?
well, for the record, about 3/4 of the policy period, the thing that we hold,
Mhm.
that's the collection policy, about 3/4 of that was even the boards prior to us.
Right.
Even prior to people who've come off just recently.
So who put all
So
the
those,
new
it was
things
left as a
into that?
draft, and then we at regional asked us to have to take a glance at our collection
Mm-hmm.
policy, and so in November, the famous November 2023, we had a revamping of, but it was using what other boards had put effort to in a draft form to go to the things that they had requested us to address.
And
And
how,
so-
and by state standard, how often do we have to address the collection and development policy?
Well, it's a good practice to look at the collection policy each year, because things do come up and conversations do come up. And it's actually in the very first paragraph it says this policy will be reviewed annually by the library board. This is that's part of what that is. So, to say,
Is it mandated by the state for that, or is that just our good practice?
You have to.
I was just gonna say, I think it's a mandate.
part of the
I think it's the
library.
requirement.
It's in the library.
It's part of our
service agreement.
responsibility. We are the governing body. That is not mean words. That's good words. That's protector, that's helper, that's the good words.
Yeah.
But we are the governing body, and it is a responsibility. And so, I'm not being mismeaning here saying, rah, rah, rah. I'm just saying, I am doing what y'all have asked for. I just brought it here because our agenda is pretty light otherwise. And this was a great time. I thought this would be a great time for us to let the public speak to it and for us to discuss the legal, what legal said about things. Some of those are just typos. Some of those are just little things. Some of those are just new wordings. So, I mean, I am actually agreeing to portions of what you're saying. I'm just disagreeing on the timing. I think we have gone to the effort of doing this. I have gone to the effort as a chair of putting it out so the public can read it. I did put it out so that y'all can read it. We are coming to the table to talk about it. This is not I'm rushing this. I did this properly, and we are doing this properly, and that's what I'm saying. I do disagree with you on timing.
My only thought with the study session, it was give us an opportunity where we have things that we want to reword and do. This is 13 pages. And if we want to have discussion about wording and that, having written a collection development policy before, this is not enough time for us to digest 13 pages of it. Even if we've had an opportunity to look at it, and I'm not arguing that with you at all, Erica. I do feel like you have been on point with that type of stuff. But there's just so many different contentious things in here, and this is a brand new board, and it is a new year. So I would like for us to approach it with our board. That is my only thing. I'm not trying to kick it to the can. I would love for us to vote on this finally and get it away, but I'm not voting for this. I am not voting for this. Once again, I am not voting for this. So I would rather take my vote after we've had a chance together as a group to work through it and hash it out in a study session where that's the only thing we're talking about, and then come back in our next meeting and us all feel that we were heard and we were able to reach a compromise that we feel is the best we could do for our community, and so we could all feel good about voting for it when it comes back up.
And I hear that and respect what you just said. It's not 13 pages that we would be highly discussing because most of this is already our policy. So that is what I'm referring to. It would not be. It's talking about things that are slightly different or added to. Yes, you had your hands raised.
I'll say first, I think you have done a fantastic job as chairwoman. It feels a bit as if we're trying to manipulate the situation and the opportunity that we have today, given that the meat of this policy has been before us, myself being new, me and Steve, the newest addition to the board, so me personally the past few months, but if it has been the meat of the policy for, over a year now, is that correct? There has been opportunities to discuss, so it's not some novel idea or new revelation where we're sitting now to have a discussion. We met together last week. We have email chains together. So I think to be sat here now.
Not what we discuss any of this,
not
by the way,
public.
that's for information. But yes.
But nonetheless, we have the opportunity to have discussion. So I don't know why now, when the public has taken time to be here to have this conversation, to bring it up that we should have a discussion. I'm all for discussion as well. I think it's good. I think it's beneficial to hear each other out, to listen to one another, and to work together collaboratively to do something that benefits the community. But to bring that to everyone's attention now, I think is manipulating the situation. And as it pertains to the legal team, the comment that was made, yes, certainly it's not our job to help them, but I do think we can be grateful for the work that they do, and I'm grateful for the legal team.
And there, for also record's sake, let me start. I do want to address the email conversation she said. That is through our county email, and it's information. So like I say, details for the meeting. I give information that they might need to read through for this meeting, but no conversation of collaborating or conversation has happened.
Correct. The point
So
I
want to say a clarifier of that.
Yes, the point I was making there was that we are in
There could be
contact and
questions.
communication with each other.
Mhm. I do also want to say, for record sake, though I did just post the proposals for public knowledge and sight for this meeting, the board has had the law office's suggestions since November. So I mean, like, I'm not talking, this is not a brand new thing that's just been thrown out there. This is something that's been available for us as a board, because we are responsible to read our emails and read through those kind of things. We've had access to that, could have access to them. We could ask legal anytime we want to. We have had this information since November. So I'm gonna call this to a vote.
To table it, to move it? That
So
was
your
my
motion is to table it for a,
Study session.
Study session.
Or you can call a committee meeting that doesn't have anything to do with our normal meeting in April.
so, and it was first and seconded, we've had great conversation about it. So, I'll call it to vote. All of those in favor to tabling it, say aye, and I also need a raised hand, please.
Aye.
3. And then all those opposed, no with hands. 3. So what happens here is that does not pass. So it means it stays on agenda, but because nothing changes here, right? That did not pass. Is that, I'm understanding correctly?
It's not a tie. It's a fail. It fails.
Right.
Yes,
So,
that's correct.
so it stays on agenda though. Is that how I understand that?
Mhm.
Well, you haven't approved the agenda yet.
I know, but I'm saying
Yes, it's.
to be voted on. To be voted on,
remove.
yes. Okay, so, thank you for your patience when I have to ask lots of clarifiers. All right, so, that does not change.
Madam Chairman,
Yes,
could I ask you a question?
yes.
What we just passed, when can parts of that be changed?
We just voted not to table it, that was all.
No, I'm talking about, okay, if it's not tabled, it's
It'll
gonna be put up for a
It's gonna
vote.
be put up. for a
If it
vote.
passes, when can it be revisited? Can it be can parts of it be revisited during a regular library board meeting?
If adequate public notification has happened. Like, it can't just be brought up and added to an agenda. It has to have adequate public notice.
But why could we
But
do
why
the
not?
Westmoreland thing without the public being notified?
Because this
of
is a
that?
heavier, that is what I have been, that
But I
is
mean,
how I have
but
been.
your reason was the public hadn't been notified.
When
We
it's
couldn't
that-
pop it up.
When it's that drastic, my understanding, and it's been based off of conversations.
You can add things to the agenda by
Right.
vote, so.
Yeah,
But if something is a heavier subject, that
Don't matter.
Don't
I don't think
matter.
doesn't have to have
I
notice.
haven't-
That's a
Some of my
factor that comes
observations.
into play as committees decide what to put on, is to weigh that in, but you can always bring, the commission does it all the time.
yeah, Christian does it all the time.
Okay,
They
I've
add
just heard
stuff to
the
the
word, I've
agenda.
heard the wording, I thought, from your office about not having adequate, public
That, the
notice.
attempt to satisfy the state is to provide adequate public notice. That's a term of art that's used.
Mhm.
And it, as a lot of these laws related to this go, they're very vague. So it's left up to interpretation.
Okay. My understanding was this heavy of a subject was something that was one of those, so.
My point is this, ideally, yes, you would want to do that, but could it come up another way? Absolutely.
Okay. So there, I think that answered your question, I think. Oh, thank you.
I would like to add to new business or old business or somewhere an update on who's taking the minutes for these meetings.
Okay, well, do I have a second to, any discussion about adding that?
And who is taking minutes today?
That's a good question. I actually meant to ask that
Oh.
earlier and I got sidetracked.
We didn't know Steve wouldn't be here, so he would be the one taking them, so,
Well, somebody has to take minutes.
yeah.
It's falls in line, so who's next? That's you,
So I
Vice
think-
Chair.
But you can, this, yes.
Sorry.
You can drop.
Sorry.
No, don't
No,
apologize.
somebody needs to record the minutes.
I'm sorry. I agree, but
Yes.
please no comments from me. All right, okay, so where would you like to add that? I guess it would be
You-
old business, so you want to
You
make it.
could just
be
even
old bu-
let him, I don't care. Put it as B after Westmoreland. And new business. We just
we
need
need
it.
to vote, I'm sorry. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so, note taker question, as B, under new business.
Yeah, it
And-
shouldn't be, it shouldn't take that long.
Is there
I just
anything-
want to hear an update.
Any other questions or motions? All right, so I am going to bring into vote on, bring up for vote the approval of the agenda as amended. That is putting the Westmoreland line issue as A. That is putting note taker update as B, and moving everything else down to C, D, and E. All those in favor say
You need a
aye.
motion
I'm
and a
so-
second.
I'm sorry, thank
Yeah.
you.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second. So you were first, Riley, seconded.
Yeah.
I thought we were in that, but thank you. So all those in favor of the amended agenda as just stated, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, I think I would all this. All right, so that brings us to the approval of the minutes of January 14th that Mike very kindly supplied.
My name is just misspelled in a lot of places.
So it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just, it's right at the beginning and then
The
it's
B-U?
B-E-R-G.
It's B-E, so.
B-U-R-G is the correct spelling. B-E-R-G is not, and it's,
Okay, yeah.
it's okay.
I'll
I
fix
mean,
it.
no, I just wanted
So it's
to let you know.
B-U-R-G. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry
You
about
ha-
that.
It was right at the top, but
Oh,
then as it
okay.
goes down and flows through,
Sorry
it was
about that. That's one of my
B-E-R-G.
biggest pet peeves is to
That's
misspell
okay.
somebody's name.
I've had it for 30 years and my mother doesn't spell it right every time either, so it's no big deal.
I'll go back and fix it.
Mine were spelled right this time.
Okay,
We keep you
well,
on our
of course.
toes,
We always
on
have
your toes
been.
about our spelling. Anything else that needs to be, so anywhere that, that Bergdorf is misspelled, it needs to be
I'll-
changed.
I'll fix it.
And then,
And is there any particular reason that we don't have the minute? Did anybody take minutes for this study session?
Paul.
Paul McCoy did. Yes, so Paul McCoy did at.
And then
then
we
last
don't
week.
have the minutes from the budget meeting last week either.
I'm sorry,
He
Paul
was,
did
he was
that.
taking those.
there's,
Steve.
there
did
are
that.
there are no minutes, my understanding, there's no minutes required for a round table discussion or study session. That is my understanding,
Paul
and
took
that
the
I've heard that.
budget.
And then Paul took
Took 'em-
the
took 'em
minutes
last
for
week,
for last week for the budget.
But Steve was taking notes.
And
I
he-
think,
You know what?
Was it
I'm
for the
sorry, I
study
should
session?
have submitted those. I did not even think about those this time, since it was just 2 seconds ago.
No, because we need the
Yes.
minutes before we
Yes,
move to other business that was based on the,
yes. I apologize. That was my big oops, because
Okay.
I thought about the minutes of January. I did not think about, I knew Paul had done them. I had not even thought about to put them on here. I'm so sorry. That is my bad.
okay.
Can we put those on next month?
Well, they have to be approved because we had
Well, then
actionable
what do we do?
items.
'Cause I don't have any minutes right now because he's not here.
We'll have to approve them at some point, so they'll have to be at the next meeting, because they are the record.
Right, no, absolutely, I
So
agree.
just
And I am
the
sorry
next
for my,
meeting.
that was an oversight on my part, I'm so sorry. So, do we just,
nothing, just We
we
need them
move
at the
forward
next
with what I have
meeting.
listed.
Yeah,
approve the
Take care of it.
January
That's what I was asking.
minutes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so, do I have a motion to accept the amended?
So moved.
Seconded.
So Mike first and Riley second, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. I think that was unanimous. All right, so then that brings us finally to the recognition of our public. So I do want to remind you that when you come up here, I'd like you to stand just right here where we can see you, but public can also see you. When you are talking, you are addressing the board and not talking or answering to the public. And I need you to say your name, your address, and then we'll have 2 minutes. When the timer goes off, most of the time y'all beat it, y'all are done before the timer goes off, but when the timer goes off, you need to stop. And that's how we will keep this flowing, okay? Give me a moment to get, first person is Wanda, is it Mullins?
Yes.
Please come on up. And welcome, by the way. Very glad to see you guys. Thank y'all for speaking and for being here. Okay. Say your name and your address.
Okay, so my name is Wanda Mullins, 1114 Kennesaw Boulevard. Okay, it's my understanding that we are talking about the books in the library, is that correct? And this is our opinion, correct? Okay.
Yes. Anything on this agenda?
Anything on this agenda? Okay, I just wanted to clarify because there was a lot of things that we're talking about. Okay. All right, so my name is Wanda Mullins. I've been a resident of Sumner County for 6 years. I'm a former teacher, 20-ish years. By the way, third grade rocks. I love third grade. I have 2 children. They're grown, and a grandbaby on the way. I'm super excited. It is my professional stance that children don't need to ponder these issues in books and confusing ideas in literature. To the authors of these books, I wanted to say, kind of shame on you, or find another topic or something. Children don't need to have, children don't have the processing abilities to make logical, realistic conclusions about life based on these agendas that are being pushed, especially since the same said authors can't tell you what a woman is. It is my personal motherhood stance that my grandchildren do not need to be exposed in a library setting where they can just go and pick the books. The book covers may look very innocent, but between the pages, I believe, are pure deception and evil meant to trap and confuse these wonderful growing minds. So let's stick to quality content that inspires, shapes, and spurs these children on to fulfill their God-given purpose and destiny.
Thank you. All right. Next is Sean Phillips. So you'll need to say your name.
My name is Sean Phillips. I live at 343 Goodman Drive. There's a book titled A Place Inside of Me, a poem to heal the heart, which deals with the feelings Black youth might go through when processing the very real problem of Black people dying at the hands of police. Breonna Taylor, Botham Jean, Eric Garner, George Floyd, Stephon Clark, Tatiana Jefferson, Sonia Massey, among many other names. These names, among many others who I omitted because I worried I wouldn't have enough time to say them all, were all unarmed Black people who were killed by police. A book to help a Black child work through the feelings associated with that kind of statistic is a good thing. Viola Ford Fletcher, the oldest survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre, died last year. We are not that far removed from these atrocities as it might seem. Ruby Bridges, who famously was the first Black child to go to an all-white school, is 71 years old. There's other books, Hey Kiddo, which talks about a 17-year-old who looks back on his life and his mother's a drug addict, and it deals with that. And that's for older kids and teens. There's Lawn Boy, which is a coming of age book that deals with same-sex sexual encounters within the book. Kids deal with that thing at a certain age and certain age group. If we're talking about taking books away because of their graphic sexual content and all things being fair, the Bible has some verses that mirror the same things that are deemed to be problematic. You can look these verses up yourself. Ezekiel 23:20, Genesis 19:30, Exodus 21. They all deal with issues and topics that mirror the same topics and issues that people who are opponents of these books contain. I don't think that people would be in favor of the censorship of the Bible and having that taken out of the library. And so for those reasons, I'm against this rule. Thank you.
Nina Holman?
Holman.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay. I tried.
That's a title. Good afternoon. I understand this is the fourth time.
Say your name and your address.
Nina Holman, 115 Township Drive. Thank you. I understand this is the fourth time this policy has been brought up and been rejected. When it comes down to it, these are public libraries supported by public funding. And I don't know why you think you have the right to determine what goes into a public library. Teach your children, educate your children. These books should be open to everybody. And if you do teach your children, educate your children, they will know what's best. And if you think these kids can't get a smartphone and look in these smartphones and find these books you're trying to ban, you're fooling yourselves.
All right, Paul Braden.
Good afternoon, Paul Graydon, 122 Great Falls Court. Actually, I'm here to talk about the Hendersonville Library extended hours. As many of you know, I'm running for county commissioner. I expect that this passes today. I've got a headache once I'm elected. My understanding is that there's been no needs assessment, first of all. So we're putting the cart before the horse. Secondly, we're using endowment money, which will run out. You know, I was told, as I've been talking to the public, that none of them are interested in their taxes being raised. Now, one person said, please raise my taxes so we can extend the library hours. I know we applied for a grant for the volunteer fire department out in the county, and it was turned down because there was no budget to maintain it. That probably was a sound decision by the people that made that. I'm asking this board to table this decision today until June, when the commission has a chance to address it in the budget. Otherwise, we're setting ourselves up to go into debt. Also want to say, as far as the library discussion today, I believe it was the October meeting when you all voted for 60 days to look into all this before making a decision. And that was in October. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Lindsay Doss.
She had to step out. I can read her speech if you're okay with that, or if not, then we can.
Are you speaking today?
I'm not. I was not on there.
Are y'all okay with her reading it?
Sure.
That's fine.
Okay. I'll just come over here. I don't have her address, but I can give you her name.
It's actually even here.
Okay. Lindsay Doss. I'm just reading her speech. She says, here we go again. We are all here talking about a policy that has already been voted down, 4 times. I'm glad that we could all be here today, hearing that this board is trying to pass discussions, and let's see, I'm sorry, I can't read this. I just can't read the word, but she's saying to her feels like a signal that we're still voting on these things again. She says, I'm an educator in this county. I love my students as if they were my own children. I strive to make my classroom a safe space for all children. I think because of this welcoming atmosphere, students feel comfortable sharing with me. I don't know, but something about having a teenager crying in your classroom because they don't want to go home, because they're not accepted there, changes your perspective on a lot of things. And this has been more than one student across my 10 years. And for everyone who has shared that with me, how many more suffered in silence? Y'all talk about protecting children. Well, who's protecting these kids? Do they not matter? All you are doing with this clearly unpopular collections policy is telling these children that those human beings don't belong. And she says, I have a problem with that. You are further stigmatizing an already marginalized group of people. You are making it acceptable to bully people because of who they are. And again, I have a problem with that. I don't like bullies. It's not a huge leap to go from books about you are not welcome in our libraries to you are not welcome in our libraries. And history tells us that discrimination does not stop with one group. So who will be next on your holy crusade to protect the children? Besides the whole cruelty against humanity thing, just take the L. This policy has been brought up time and time again. We've heard all the perspectives about it. I think some of us have difficulty accepting losses. I will end with this. I hope you vote down this policy again, but I'm sure I will be back up here when it inevitably comes back. When you control what people can read, you control what people can think, then you control the people. So thank you.
Let's see here, Emma Diaz.
Emma Diaz, 3700 Provine Boulevard, Gallatin, Tennessee. I am a psychologist, a human, an avid reader. Every time I come to a new town, the first thing I do is get a library card and start checking out books. I was shocked at how few books were in the Sumner County Library before I knew about any of this. I was like, holy crap, out of everywhere I've lived, this is the first place where I could not find several books that I wanted to check out. That has never happened before. And so I was shocked when I found out that the little library collection we have is going to be further whittled down. I don't understand why we need to be afraid of ideas, and I don't understand why we need to be afraid of people. LGBTQ youth are at the highest risk for suicide, especially when they're not welcomed. I am quite frankly tired of our library board meetings being a circus. I am disappointed that we're continuing to do this. I was really hopeful when Erica came in that we would see movement and unity and growth, and I'm really terribly disappointed in this. As a previous government employee, I took my responsibility to be a steward of government resources seriously, to understand that I could have personal values and a strong personal moral code, and that my job at the end of the day as a government official was to be a steward of government resources and to make sure that the Constitution was reflected in our decisions. And I feel that's not being done here. I think we're having ideological things imposed on us, and I want to see library board meetings be boring again. I want to see y'all talking about the extended hours and things like that. Families can be responsible for protecting their children, and I think we need to put the power back in the family's hands instead of government overreach.
Yes.
Thank
Please
you.
be quiet. Thank you. There are going to be a lot of things people say that you agree with, and there are going to be a lot of things that you disagree with. I respectfully ask you to please keep your comments in here and let there be quiet. Let the person speak whose turn it is. I will give them full respect of that. But it is not okay for us to start doing the comments from the public area at any of this meeting time, okay? Thank you. Jesse McKinney, please. And that is said with respect. I am saying that to everybody, okay? Thank you.
All right, Jesse McKinney, Waterview Drive, Hendersonville. My comments about the draft collections and development policy. When reviewing the posted drafts on the website, I noticed many significant changes from the last approved version in November 2024 that are not marked in any way on those drafts. Unless you go through the current policy and the last approved policy from November 2024 line by line, which I did, then you have no way of knowing what you are actually voting to change with the policy that you have in your hands right now. 2 deletions here should raise immediate red flags. Gone from the selection guidelines is the library's commitment to balanced coverage and diverse viewpoints. Gone entirely from the collections policy, this censorship and access section that affirms the public's First Amendment right to access information. Another concerning revision that's not marked is the complete overhaul of the current library materials reconsideration policy. In the current approved policy, the library director reviews the reconsideration request and makes a decision regarding what action should be taken. If the citizen is not satisfied with that, then they appeal to the library board. In the version in front of you with no red text, no highlight, no green, any mark whatsoever, it completely removes the librarian from the policy, from the process, and every reconsideration request goes directly to this board with no opportunity to appeal. And lastly, I've made my point on the transgender information very clear over the last year. Public libraries exist so people can explore ideas and information freely, not so that officials can decide what ideas are safe to encounter. Passing any policy that removes content based on the views expressed in that content, just like that proposed section does for transgender information, will expose the county to costly litigation that taxpayers like me and you will have to pay for.
Dan Smith.
My name's Dan Smith, and I'm from 1290 Woods Ferry. And I agree that parents should be teaching their kids without a doubt. However, there are books in the library that, and let me tell you, I believe that kids' minds are sponges, and if there aren't guardrails, then man, you can it makes kids question things that they shouldn't question at the age that they're at. There's a book that I reviewed from the library. It's called Different Kinds of Fruit, and it absolutely draws all kinds of questions into a kid's sexuality that a kid shouldn't even be processing those things at the age when he's reading or she's reading those things. I think it's absolutely intelligent on our part to have guardrails. Listen, if people want to buy books and have them in their home or whatever the information is, man, go for it. But I don't think the tax dollars should be putting confusing thoughts into children's minds. And of course, I think that I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm just going to tell you that I believe that we need to protect our children. And if you like that,
Pentecost, please.
Sonnet Pentecost 222 Prior Drive. Here I am again, like we've been talking about this for a while. I'm glad that it didn't pass, that you're gonna talk about this today. We can't keep pushing this off, and there's comments about, the children, and that parents are with their children, and there was at the work study about you can't drop your kid off at a certain age, but then that's different at every library, and the cards are different at every library. Nobody's saying that there's a bad law that teenagers shouldn't be able to drink. There's nobody up here freaking out because we don't let teenagers, go and rent porn or get porn movies. Except on their phone, their parents are paying for that. My tax dollars aren't paying for that. Okay? We don't join the military before a certain age. There are all kinds of guardrails in place. Okay? And as a mom, and now I'm a honey grandmother, if I take multiple children to the library in the children's section, if I am reading a book to one, and I used to think it was safe to say, go look at books, okay, and bring me what you like. That's not safe anymore. And when a library children's section of a library isn't safe for all children, we have a problem. That nobody's putting up a sign, and I don't think any 7-year-old or 13-year-old for that matter knows that we're discussing this at this library board meeting and for the past library board meetings where we didn't have people show up and blah, blah, blah. This is important for Sumner County, for our things. We need help. And then we go up because then it was the kids, but what about the young adult reading or whatever? I can't read every chapter book that my kid checked out. I mean, I had an avid reader. I couldn't read every book, so I need to feel safe. And now, you Google and you try to figure out what's going on. But we do, as Dan said, you need guardrails there to help parents. A library should be a safe place for all people. You can buy anything you want on Amazon. We're not banning anybody's book. We're not saying you can't choose that lifestyle if that's what your choice is. But I'm saying for me and my household, we're going to serve the Lord. And that means I don't want them reading this crap.
Jack Elston.
Jack Elston, 1096 Kennesaw Boulevard, Gallatin. Members of the board, in comparing the latest proposed policy revision to the original policy, back in 2024, I discovered a problem. The revised draft says that the proposed change, it says on it specifically, the proposed changes are shown in yellow and red. You've indicated that what existed there was in black and white. The fact is, there are two major deletions from the original policy that are not in this. They've been removed. They've not been seen by the law office. The first is from the selection guidelines, which said, the library strives to provide balanced view on all subjects by selecting sources portraying various sides of an issue. The second deletion was the entire censorship and access section, which affirmed the public's right to access information representing diverse viewpoints. These are both constitutional guardrails, language that demonstrates viewpoint neutrality, balance, and non-exclusion. Courts look for this language to determine if a library is acting as a neutral public institution rather than an ideological gatekeeper. While the two initial revision drafts did show these passages being stricken out, it was between the July 2nd policy committee meeting of 3 people, one of whom who's no longer on the board, and the full July 9th meeting that the stricken out text was simply removed. It's not in the current text that you've been looking at for the last 6 months now. Since then, these deletions have not been disclosed in any of the subsequent revisions. Now, some have argued, in fact, the prior chair argued this is not a First Amendment right. She said because of the Fifth Circuit's ruling that library creation is government speech. That's her basis for it. But the fact is, Tennessee is in the Sixth Circuit, not the Fifth. It's not bound by the Fifth Court. This library is still fully bound by First Amendment limits on viewpoint discrimination. And having quietly removed the stricken out text as part of the revised policy to be considered, it now exposes the county to claims of lack of transparency and intentional viewpoint discrimination. So my requests are, do not vote on this flawed document. The law people have not looked at it.
Your time is up, sir. Thank you. Joanna Daniels.
Hi, Joanna Daniels. I'm a resident of 152 Shadow Haven Way North, Hendersonville, Tennessee. So I want to talk about 2 things. The collection development policy, of course, as most of you know, I was definitely heavy-handed in helping to create this policy. And this policy is something that I poured my heart and soul into, and I also went to a constitutional attorney to make sure that it is constitutional and it does not break any laws. And I brought up the First Amendment, problem that people try to say. The First Amendment was created to protect us from the government so that we can say what we want to. It does not demand that the government pay for everything out there and every idea to be available. As a matter of fact, we have the responsibility that if we want an idea to get out, that we have to make sure it gets out. The government just can't say, no, you can't publish that.
You're supposed to address
Now,
the
it
board.
doesn't mean, sorry, people were looking this way, so I was looking this way. So it doesn't mean that we have to take our tax dollars and pay for these books. So public funds, if we're a steward of the funds, this means that the government is supposed to decide how these funds are to be used in the public libraries. We decide, y'all decide, the government decides how funds are used every single day. What goes into an art museum that is governmentally funded. Public TV, we regulate everything on public TVs. The views, what is viewed, the content, everything that goes on public TV, the government does that. And as you know, an executive order that was put out in 2025, it says federal funds shall not be used to promote gender ideology. Each agency shall assess grant collect conditions and grant performances and ensure grant funds do not promote gender ideology. I said 52. I had it on the same time.
It's 2 minutes.
Oh, it's 2 minutes? I thought you said 3 minutes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank
I
you.
had it down for 3.
Jay Ritterbeck, 349 Lola Lane, Cottontown. I met with Steve Wasanowski shortly after he was appointed, and we talked about the policy. I actually gave him a strikeout underlined version that I think addresses a lot of the issues that are being discussed. and makes it more defensible, strengthens it legally. I think it's woefully inadequate. There is viewpoint discrimination, I believe, in it currently, that language, removing it, and really just making the restrictions drill down on the sexually explicit content and making that a focus rather than viewpoint. I also added a severability clause because if this is challenged in court, you don't want the entire thing thrown out. You want to maintain the parts of it that are necessary. I agree with somebody that spoke about the online version being unclear what was on there. I looked at all previous drafts and it's not typical, like it's highlighted. I don't know what that really means because sometimes it's old text that's highlighted. It's not strikeout underlined. So I don't know what's new. I don't know that we all really get an understanding of what was added. And then lastly, these are on YouTube. You can actually upload YouTube videos to ChatGPT and get minutes created. So, thanks.
Jill Cornelius, is that right? Did I say it right?
Of course.
Okay. I'm trying.
Thank you, Jill Cornelius, 180 Calvary Circle in Hendersonville. I've already spoken to y'all also. I don't believe that this is something that's defendable in court, so I ask that you not pass it. But really what I came here to talk about today is more about the importance of impartial governance, especially as this board considers policy proposals. When I first wrote my comment, I was really unsure on whether this was something I even really needed to address, but sort of after hearing some comments today and also continuing to see people text you during meetings and yelling out to provide you direction during meetings, it only deepens the concern that I have that this policy is not being proposed in an impartial way. I do think that it's very important from a community's perspective that you do remain impartial. And there is a new mix of board members here who were voted in by the county commission for a reason. There are also a reason why other board members are not on the board any longer. And so I just please ask that you remain with a level of integrity that is needed for very important policy choices that have to be made. I think that parents and everybody who does attend the library needs to see that from you. That's really all I have to say, so thank you.
Thank you. Suzanne Cohen.
Hello, Suzanne Cohen, 1424 Carter Rock Springs Drive. Today, I'm asking you to please join your community in approving the collection and development policy containing red line changes, except for the removal of the age limit. I'm asking for the removal of the material altogether, not just for children. This is not book banning. This is not book banning at all. Libraries have the autonomy to curate books according to the community's needs. And yes, the Fifth Circuit Court applies only in a certain area, but guess what? December of 2025, the Supreme Court did not allow the rule, also allow the ruling to stand, okay? They did not come against what the Fifth Circuit Court said. So keep that in mind. Safeguarding everyone in our community matters, and while transgenderism brings harm to children, the damage inflicted on adults, on adults is real. Promoting patterns that deny the natural, God-given, and scientifically proven sex, gender of a person wreaks havoc on an adult's spirit, mind, emotions, and body. Children are thrown into gender confusion. Men and women become embroiled in a war with their very own DNA. Their own DNA. Every cell in your body is scientifically proven to say your sex. Every cell. And instead of helping those that are dealing with issues regarding that, because we all can be confused, we can all have problems, we push an agenda that does great harm to children and adults.
So thank you very much.
My name was not called and I didn't sign up.
Jolene Cannon.
I am so sorry, Jolene. I am so sorry. Please come forward. And that was a mistake. That was not intentional at all.
I figured, but I
Yes,
didn't
yes.
want to.
So sorry.
Hi, my name is Jolene Cannon, 159B Womack Road. We've heard several different opinions, both for and against the collections and development policy since it was first proposed. Moral issues, legal issues, mental health issues, that the library board needs to be good stewards of taxpayer funds. Let's talk about that one. The book And Tango Makes Three has the distinction of being one of the most challenged books in the U.S. since its publication in 2005. The list price for a hardcover copy is $20. If each library has a single copy, then the county has paid at most $100 for the book. I say at most because it is possible that the book was purchased by an outside party and donated to the library. The Escambia County, Florida School District banned the book in 2023 and had a lawsuit filed against them. As of May 2026, the county had paid over $300,000 in legal fees on that single lawsuit. They have paid over $1 million on similar cases over the last few years. Win or lose, a court case is expensive. We're talking $100 to keep a book, possibly over $300 to ban it. My kids would say that math doesn't math. To the idea that anyone can just go out and buy it on Amazon, approximately 30% of our county is considered working poor. They're not going to be able to buy a $20 book on Amazon. Our library needs to be able to provide books for everyone. Thank you.
Just for the record, I started marking after Emma Diaz, and I was like, I think I may have skipped somebody. I'm so sorry.
I do understand. I
am so sorry. I would never purposely leave somebody out. All right, so thank you so much for your public comments. Thank you for abiding by my requests as well. I really appreciated that. And that brings us back into the chairman's report. I have said a lot of what I have to say in the conversation about the agenda. My intention is to be, the reason why we have, we have lots of little things that we're taking care of, but then the big thing that's on the agenda today is the collection policy. And my intention has been to be as transparent as I possibly know to be, like of what I know is in front of us, and trying to use the tools in front of us, and wanting to put this in front where we can discuss it. I have tried to take in consideration the things that have been requested by our board and even by public so that we could have this conversation. So, I mean, I just wanted to, I've said most of the things that, of the why this is going on today. And I've said the majority of it with the agenda, so I will move on to the next thing. So that takes us to old business. There's only one thing listed under there. It's about the action needed for directors. It's a action needed for directors' reports for Trey Hargett's letter. We did have a study session in the beginning of February where we discussed that, but because it's a non-voting meeting, when we do that, we need to vote. We need to come up with a motion and wording and vote so that we can just simply finish out the process of the Trey Hargett, what Trey Hargett letter asked for. Right now, it's just sitting on, pending on our conversation as a board. So my thoughts, and then people would need to do motions as needed or whatever, but my thoughts are, what I heard discussed at our meeting was to allow library directors to make the necessary decision that they felt was correct for each of those books based off of our collection policy and the things that they normally function under. We had discussed things like, but they were simply options for them. There were some heavy subject books that we discussed that that many have talked about possibly putting and probably putting under a parental resources area, just so that it's the heavier stuff, so that when children are given freedom to just walk up to to an area and get to pick out a book that mom or whoever looks at and gets, it's the heavier stuff like divorce and even depression or suicide, or there's a lot of different heavier subjects. It's not that they're wrong, it's just they're heavier. One of them was even a whale book that was a great informational book. I thought it was amazing because I love data, but it was about how a whale provides for the area for 100 years. So it was about a decaying whale body for most of the book. So that would be a little upsetting if somebody just walked up thinking they were, a kid was looking at a whale book and it's a decaying whale book. So there was that portion, and then what the Trey Hargett letter actually referred to, which were books that were, the executive order was brought up in that, and those kind of things. So we just need to come up with an action of what we are telling our library directors to do. It can be entrusting them to make the decision, which is what I heard being discussed, entrusting them to make the decision on how to handle the books that they brought question to, as per the things that are already in place, like the policies and things. There is the executive order that is out there that is talking about, but our discussion was to trust them. So there needs to be a motion of something that we give them an act, like where we are agreeing, so that we can sign this paperwork, and the Trey Hargett letter answers from each of the 3 that are remaining that were waiting on us get finished and completed. So thoughts?
Can it be as simple as what you said, that we give the directors to use their discretion?
I would just need a motion.
All right, I
Yes.
propose that we give the directors their discretion to take care of those books based on their normal operating procedures with weeding and all those things, and it'd be up to them.
Is there any conversation that needs to happen? Any comments? Hi, Steve.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome. Is there
I'd like to ask just for clarification, if I could. Now, the motion that's before us is to give discretionary power to the librarians. Now, I have talked to all the librarians briefly, some of them more than others. But if, once we give them that discretion, is there anybody on this board that thinks that their discretion won't take care of 95% of the problem that we're chasing around? I mean, I probably have enough confidence in the librarians for them to make a decision that would even satisfy some of the writ that we're going to vote for or against here lately. I mean, it looks to me like that has the possibility of taking care of the problem in its entirety. I mean, what we're gonna, if we vote yes on this, we're telling them, if you run across a transgender book, it's inappropriate, you're authorized to get it out, take it out. Now, if we're not saying that, then we're not leaving them with discretion. I mean, that's a little bit vague to me. I can't quite get my hands on it.
The letter said promotion of transgenderism, and I would argue of all the books that I read there, wasn't
This is apples and oranges here. This is a state required letter that I believe you all are addressing in reference to this. This and the collection policy, while a lot of the subject matter is the same, it's really two separate issues.
Okay.
So I didn't want y'all to get lost.
Oh, okay, but.
And I agree with,
But one would, if we vote to approve this, then we're, on one hand, we're saying it's up to you.
This is to approve for reporting purposes to the state.
Okay, and that's it.
And that is my stance as well, just to hear
Okay.
on this conversation of where these apples and oranges are.
Okay,
This is fulfilling the need for this letter.
okay.
Policy is a different thing, like if we do want different things to, like if we're wanting to talk
I got
about
you.
those subjects, it's gonna need to change in our policy. So right now, the letter, we have a lot of things in our policy that does already cover some of the issues. So the explicit, sexually explicit things. And then there is the transgender conversation, which is what the executive, the letter talks about the executive order, which does refer to that. So, but where I'm wanting, just what this vote is about our action just to fulfill the demand of the letter.
Then I call for the question. You have a second, right?
Yes,
Then I call
that
for
we're
the
in the conversation, so we have to vote.
question.
Okay, so, are we ready to vote?
You need to be very clear on this. If the question's being called, we need to vote on it. If
Yes.
he's gonna withdraw it because there's no further discussion, we would be okay, but something's gotta be done with the call to question.
And please excuse me, because my brain is not braining about that. Remind me what call to question is.
It's basically somebody saying they've heard enough and let's vote on it.
Okay, so let's vote.
Well, I need to be clear. If he didn't call the question, would there be anybody wanting to discuss this? Then if he'll withdraw that, y'all go straight to the vote. If somebody else wants to talk, then we need to vote on his call to question.
Do I need to withdraw it for where we can vote?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
I'll withdraw
right now.
my call for the question.
Okay, then if there's no further comment.
Just to repeat the vote before.
Okay, so yes, welcome. And
Sorry.
we are voting on, we are on old business action needed for director's reports for Trey Hargett's letter. And the motion is to
give the librarians discretion to decide where to shelve the books they flagged.
Thank you.
Based off of what's
Thank
already in place.
No discussion needed from me.
Yes. Okay. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Was that unanimous?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So that passes. Give me a moment. I have those papers. We'll just work with that later. I was going to try to sign those, but I can't find them. Okay. That leads us to new business, which has been changed. We have changed some of our agenda. Westmoreland's, I don't know the wording, line changes.
We did.
Yes, budget adjustment, thank you.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve that, because it has to go to budget at commission
Yes.
anyway.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any conversation needed? All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was unanimous, correct? y'all need to just help me, and I try to do that for note taking as well. All right, so that passed, that was easy, all right. That leads us to the newbie, which is note taker update, so that's going to be passed over to Mike for information.
Yep, so I'm still working on that. It's been really hard to get someone. It's passed through the whole Gallatin area. There's nobody here. So I'm working still at the Hendersonville court system level. So I've talked to several people there. There's a lady there that hires, I think I mentioned this last time, that hires the note takers. And so she's keeping her eyes out for us. Trying to find somebody that we know, obviously, like you mentioned, and trust, and we can have some people that know them that can back them up and say, yeah, this is a good person. So far, I haven't found that, so I'm certainly open to any suggestions from this point. Just waiting on that back from Hendersonville. The lady
Is it
that
money?
Huh?
Is it money?
No, I mean, it's just, I think it's just, there's not anybody,
And let me make an official note there too. We need to communicate, but I had a question that came through from payroll of county, and I just want to say in the official, that we do need that money to stay the same on the budget line, because we do want to use that monies, as it has been being used until August, I think is when it ended. But we do need that money to stay the same for the library board, for a note taker.
Yeah.
I'm just officially saying that because she referred to the statement from January, so. So it's not based off money. We do have monies in the budget.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will remain the same. It's just finding a person that is qualified, that will do a good job, that wants to do this, because it is longer, it is a lot to take on. So, is that correct?
Yep, that is, yep.
All right, so that brings us to, thank you for that update.
Yep.
That brings us to C, which is the extended hours request for Hendersonville Library. I brought this to the table. We did just handle some of this business and vote on it at the last week's budget, the special called meeting that was budget related. But I wanted to give opportunity, it was a surprise thing, and that the budget that was brought forward was not even considering that. So I wanted to just ask the questions of, while there is so the vote on Wednesday was about letting Emily move forward in planning and seeing how that would work out to expand the hours by 8 hours pending what the commissioner's budget committee cleared. I wanted to just ask the question because it was such a surprise subject. I wanted to give the public an opportunity to speak to it. I also wanted to ask the question. So can I suspend?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
We voted.
Has this been voted on?
Yes, we voted.
So the vote,
unanimously.
yes. I'm not asking
Okay, then
anything
it's-
that changes the vote.
This is moving to budget then, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's over.
Yes, but we don't have a budget committee, and I'm just
It's
asking.
moving to the
But-
full county commission
But
budget.
this will move for budget consideration to be presented as part of the overall budget.
I just wanted to make sure, and this is just I'm just trying to be transparent to the public, but I also wanted to be transparent to just asking a question when I got to leave and start thinking about what we had voted on, and the vote stands. I'm not questioning the vote, but I wanted to see if there was, if there had been a crunching of numbers, and if we needed to consider, there was something that was consideration for Emily since she had come with a different budget for different hours. I'm not questioning the vote. I'm not
My
changing the vote.
interpretation is who, I guess Emily's putting the budget together.
Yes.
Emily just, that vote told Emily to add 8 hours worth of budget into her budget request to do as a part of the presentation at the committee.
Okay.
And it either gets voted up or down, and then it moves from there.
Okay, so you just actually answered what I wanted to make sure I understood. That's my question is making sure that they are covered, because when she brought us a budget that we voted for and said yes, it was not considering that. I just wanted to make sure that Hendersonville was covered. So she, based off that vote, it would give her the opportunity to have that discussion of the adjustment.
Just to be matter of fact,
adjustment.
she was given a mandate by the board to add it, and now she needs to add it and move it to budget.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that was covered and I wanted to give the public an opportunity to say something to it as well. I am trying to be transparent, very transparent. All right, so I mean, then that takes care of that. She did just give us some information, so do we need to ask her questions right now about the things, or is the information she's handed out? Because there's no vote on this right now. I just was asking questions and letting her have that opportunity.
I'm gonna make a motion to let her address this in her director's report.
Okay. All right, cool, thank you.
I made a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
I know. Is there any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I think that was unanimous. If I say I think that's unanimous and it's not, please speak up and let me know. That is just for note-taking purposes when people listen back. All right, and then that brings us to D, the new D, which is Friends of Library of Portland Library MOU. This is for Portland, and I was going to be handing this over to Anita to speak about, but she was not able to come. And so, have you guys gotten a chance to look at the MOU that she sent? This is a basic MOU that came through regional. It's just an understanding. It's just clarifying. It's from Friends of the Library, her Friends of the Library, making an agreement with them as Portland Library. But it has to come through us. So I just want, have you gotten a read through it?
Yeah.
Do you have a version you can read through? Do you have any questions about it?
I do.
Yes.
You're gonna not want me to come to these things after this, but
I appreciate being here.
This obviously did not get floated by my department,
Mhm.
I'm assuming. Would that be a correct assessment?
That would probably be a fair assessment.
Okay, we've got some issues here. I won't get into the mechanics of it, because the biggest problem we've got is at the very end, this contract says the parties are the Friends of Portland Library and the Portland Library Director. This thing's already been executed by both parties. Regardless of what y'all say about this is a valid contract now.
Okay.
These things need to come through you all before this kind of stuff happens. Parties need to be changed. This is my opinion. I'm not an elected official. However, from a legal perspective, this should have never been executed without you all looking at it and trying to at least shoot it up to me. That's what I'm there for, is to look at this stuff, and this is very poorly written, and I'll just throw that out there as an offer. I know there's some new members that if you need something reviewed, please contact us and we will help you however we can. But as soon as I saw this, I knew we didn't see it.
Can we undo this and redo it?
And that would be up to the other party.
Okay.
So
your concern is that you just didn't see it on the front end?
No, I've got problems with it.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's got problems,
okay.
so that's what I'm
So-
saying.
Well, I thought that's what you
I
were
think we
saying
need
at
to
first. I just want to make sure.
Get it undone and redone.
So that would be us voting to
accept it.
not accept it as is, and.
There's no not accepting it. This is a valid contract.
Okay, so what action do I need to consider? What do I need to?
You might wanna have whoever the director is out there contact the Friends and see if they're willing to entertain a new contract.
Since he's up there.
And I was waiting for him to finish.
Let me
Yes.
try this. Let me just make a motion that any contracts of this type that are made from any of our libraries to, and I don't want to call them friends group because they may have, what's a broader contributing groups, or pick a word, that it come through legal before it's signed off on.
Yes, and the issue, okay, so yes, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second. You beat me to it.
You did. Is there any discussion that's needed about what the motion is on the floor? I don't know if that specific wording is there, so. She was asking if that's on bylaws already in her policies, but I don't think the wording about, and I could be wrong.
We're talking about I'm sorry.
So I think when it comes to contracts, we need to bring that up.
And I would also.
But for this time, and from here, so.
Can I ask him a question?
Yes.
We're just talking about binding contracts that are monetarily involved or any kind?
Well, all the contracts are binding, so I'm not really sure what you're asking me. 'Cause
If
I
it
don't know
involves
of anybody
money,
that will
or
contract
doesn't
something.
involve money.
I don't wanna get into a law school class here, but there's gotta be
I
offer and
understand.
acceptance.
Okay.
There's gotta be some kind of value being taken.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. He just said what I needed him to say. He said there had to be some kind of value to it. So if anybody wants to do free things, we don't care. They handle that business. If it's gonna be an exchange of monetary value, then it needs to be part of this motion.
I can make it easy. And again, y'all are a freestanding board. You can go out and get your own attorney if you want, but I'm here for you if you need me. Let me just leave it at this. When in doubt, call me.
Yeah.
And I will help you out however I can.
And my 101 question is, because they have already signed this without me being present, and I am only saying me because my name is listed on here to be signed, then that's why it's already a binding contract, because these two parties have already signed it.
And the board's not listed as a party.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, he
So
said it was
I
just
will.
between the director
Okay.
and the Friends group.
So this would need to get, my words as chair to Anita would be that for the
My
board
suggestion would be
to come through you and be.
for you all to
rewrote.
vote to have some identified person contact the Friends of it and say, hey, you got a problem with us redoing a contract on this.
Okay.
And
That's
then
what
a
I
new
thought.
one
Okay.
will override the old one.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, this will go unsigned as far as me.
This is a valid contract. I need you to understand that. This contract
Yes.
exists as
But I'm
is
saying
written.
unsigned by me, because my name's listed. Is it
It
go?
doesn't matter. You
It's
weren't a
still
party
valid.
to it anyway.
Right, but I'm saying my part, it will go unsigned, and then I can come back to them. My answer to this.
Yes, as long as you understand it's still a valid
Oh,
contract, that's fine.
My intent was, from now on, when this comes up, do it this way, like he
Yes,
said.
and that, so when we vote, that just needs to be added to policy. That is a policy. That's a good policy conversation. All right, so all in favor of, do you need him to restate his motion?
Yes, please.
Or something there close to
You
it?
should always restate the motion before you vote on it. I learned that in my parliamentary
If
procedure class.
we simply notify all the librarians if they have deals, monetary deals with anybody, that they should seek board approval.
First, before.
Before it's signed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So, was that said, was his said the way it needs to be stated for us to vote on?
At the end of the day, y'all run the show, so I mean, that's fine. And my suggestion would be when the board gets it, if y'all have any questions, reach out to me.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? do believe that was unanimous. Okay. And then that brings us to the review and discuss and vote on the collection, development, and management policy proposals. There were 2 that were sent, when I read through, I had some thoughts with it. Mine is just thoughts, so I mean, it's just in the discussion of things. This is not anything official. This is just Erica thoughts. I appreciated what was put forth by the law director's office, and like I said earlier, there were some typos or just better wordings. There are some areas that were suggested to be taken out. I mean, it is a lot that comes here. It's just the new stuff that's we have had the policy brought up. We have read through this before. The yellow highlights were things that were suggested, proposed changes that we have read before. I used this version simply because it's what the law director's office made comments to. So, that's why it's this. I have another copy that includes all of the above with some of my discussion, just so it's in front of you. It's nothing official. It's literally suggestions, simply because I read through it, and instead of me sitting here telling you what my suggestions are, you can have it all in front of you. And in case you didn't print it, and some of mine are even just typos. So I would like to just pass them out. It is nothing official. This is not from me as anything but a member, so that you can see it. So if y'all will pass those down. I have used the thing, the one that has the yellow and the red on it, and I have just a few little suggestions because I appreciated the law director's office's suggestions. So I'm going to, it is 13 pages long. My suggestions are to go, I just would like to emphasize what the law director's office's suggestions were and just add my little things in the midst of that. That means jumping around. Now, if I need to read the whole thing, I will read the whole thing as we go, and I will gladly do that if that is what you as a board want me to do. Otherwise, I'm going to jump around.
Which part is the part you added? Can you
So,
tell me that again?
okay,
Sorry.
so the law director's office, it says Eric's, but it's through his office, his is red.
Yeah.
And then mine is the green highlight.
Okay.
So
The first thing I would call into question is
Well,
on.
hold on. So I'm going to systematically do it, and you can talk to me there. Okay. So under development plan, the law director's office suggested to take out in the interest of fiduciary, I knew that was not right. Fiduciary responsibilities concerning the spending of tax dollars, only 3. It was just this limited amount of physical copies and electronic copies. That has all been stricken. That's a suggestion. I agree with that suggestion. And I will go ahead and hyperlink us to something that's further down. When you see this big portion that is under duplicates, that is just a common thing to that same, I suggest just to restrict, to take that same information out. It's a big green area that's got lots, and I have lots of lines through it, but it is removing the same information that says, in the interest of fiscal responsibility, no more than 3 physical, 1 electronic copies of a popular title shall be purchased. So it's taking that limitation away. They were equal to each other, so when I saw that it was the same data, I'm suggesting to take that away. That way it is solely, and this was something that there were a lot of comments on over time from the public, to not limit that and to entrust the library directors, which, you know, we do trust our library directors about a lot of these decisions. It's just we have to have policies that direct them so that they know what there's, you know, to help guide. It's not to restrict. There is a word under tools that he just added in, but are not limited to. I think that's a great change there. It just helps the wording of that. He had brought up the question. There's on the next page. There's the discussion about American Library Association. Now, we have had a very extended amount of talks about this, talking about the leadership of ALA and different claims and different things. So he said, what about other organizations? There may be other organizations that we limit or whatever, but I just struck that question out of it. But it's, you know, that is solely about the library director shall not pay dues to any organization such as the American Library Association or affiliates of the American Library Association.
So my question
yes.
there is, I think we need to be specific that they could not pay the dues for membership out of library budgeted funds, but I don't think we can legally tell them they can't be members of the ALA or TLA or any other professional organization that they pay for out of their own fund.
So would that be out of, like, if they were paying funds, is that for themselves or is that
Their
out of
personal
their
money.
Yeah, but is that for themselves or is that for the library?
It's for themselves. You're not a member necessarily as a library of ALA. You're a member as
Yes.
an individual.
So, I mean, I could entertain that conversation of the wording of that.
So I don't think it's defendable.
As long as it's not about the library and the library is not funding it,
No.
then, I mean, that is the conversation point. This is about the library and the library funds.
But you're saying that library directors shall not pay dues to any organization such as the American Library Association or affiliates of the American Library Association.
Right. So another wording?
Yes, because that's not defensible. I'm a member of the ALA.
Mm-hmm.
I paid that out of my own money. I'm also a member of TASL, the Tennessee Association of School Librarians, which is an affiliate of ALA. But I don't have to be a member of ALA to be a member of TASL. I don't have to be a member of ALA to be a member of TLA. That's just the professional organization and how they're up. So we have to, in my opinion, we have to change this to be specific that it's not, they may not pay membership dues out of library funds, because their library doesn't join the ALA. That person joins the ALA.
So would from library funds be?
Or library budget, probably.
So how are you proposing to word that?
I would say to a professional organization with library budgeted funds. I don't think we have to be specific about who they can't join.
Dues to a professional.
When I asked the question of some other public library systems on do they allow their directors to pay their TLA dues, because that's the most common one that they would be a member of, out of library budgeted funds, it was different. Every system, everyone I talked to said, well, each system does it differently. So I think we just need to say, we shall not pay for it out of library, any professional organization membership dues out of library budgeted money. Thoughts?
Thoughts? I mean, I do think that cleans up that wording a little bit. Library directors shall not pay dues to any professional
organization with
You could leave it.
library budgeted money.
with library budgeted money.
Madam
You could
Chairman,
actually just comma.
do you think these discussions would make us want to reconsider a work study?
This is I'm going to jump in here again. This is another new policy that the public has not seen that includes all of your corrections, which is what we did in May, which is what we did in in July, what we did in August, and what we did in October.
So I don't agree with that, because when I came in here ready to, the agenda says discuss. We all have the opportunity to look at this and discuss it and bring ideas to this, because we don't have a committee. What I have done is simply kept the confusion down so that you have it in front of you in writing, but I have not done what was, I have done exactly what is on the up and up and what is transparent, and I am sitting here and presenting it word for word in front of them. So no, that is not true. I have given them the full amount of knowledge of what we all had, which is the proposals, including the law director's office's suggestions. And then we, as responsible board members, get to have the opportunity, because we don't have committees, to come in this place and do what's on the agenda, which says discuss. This is discussing. This is transparent. This is not breaking anything. So when you say it like that, you make me sound like I'm not being transparent when I actually am. So this is the process. This is how it healthily is done. So, I mean, you can have a motion. You can do things, but as far as me trying to do this well and do this fairly and do this kindly and professionally, I am doing that. And I am being transparent as I can possibly be. It's right here in front of a camera, and it's right here in front of this public.
That was not my intent.
You did not say that, I'm sorry.
My intent was to be persuasive enough to get the board to agree that if we could have a discussion, a work study like we did on the last one that we had, we could get through this and maybe come to a resolution and not have to sit here for 2 more hours and take one dime at a time. I still think it's better. The atmosphere of a work study is so much better and easier than to deal with this while you're in session. And it's productive. The last one we had was productive. It's a good work study. It's a good time to get controversial things ironed out. We're seeing this the first time. Not
You're seeing a
not the
couple
policy in
words
its whole,
changed
but
in
this is the first time we've seen it since it's been through legal. Is that right?
No, legal sent it out in November, the
Okay.
beginning of November, before our November meeting.
Okay,
So it has been out
okay,
to our board since then.
okay.
We haven't discussed it because people keep taking options and possibilities of discussing it away. So this is the up and up of, I mean, Mr. Larry, I respectfully say, you are one of the people that I heard a request on October 30th from you that said, I want to hear this and I want to see legal, I want to see their opinion.
Yes.
I want us to discuss
Yes.
this. And so this is what that is. Otherwise, we're just kicking the can down the road. I mean, this is what y'all keep asking for. By the way, while I'm saying things, Steve, this is me trying to also hear your request. You said the same thing. Can we give this a couple of months? Can we give this an opportunity to be seen by us, the new people? And can we discuss this? This is us discussing it. I am trying to be on the up and up of this without a committee. My hands are tied in a lot of ways when it comes to committees missing. And that was an option you guys chose. And we have spent more time talking about talking about this than we actually have gotten to get to discuss the policy. And I'm not planning on being here for 2 more hours, but I am wanting to see this through of me actually getting to present my thoughts that are only words here and there. Otherwise, it's what came from the law director's office.
Okay.
Yes.
So what came from the law director's office was a review, of a policy that this board did not create. And you have given us an opportunity to see your thoughts about this in different areas. But for us to have a discussion will take 2 more hours, I can promise you. And that was why I suggested a study session, because we could come fresh with only one thing on the agenda. That's all I have to say about it.
The time-consuming thing that has happened in this night has been the discussion about talking about the policy, not about talking about the policy. But the reason why this chair has responsibly and reasonably brought this is because I knew that the things on our agenda were short. It was respecting your time. It was respecting your questions. It was respecting the way this works. If we move this to here we are talking about this still, if we move this to a study session, it will only be a better atmosphere because y'all are not fighting the process of talking about the policy. It's because y'all will be in agreement of this is the acceptable time that we can actually talk about it.
And isn't that better?
That's better just because then a chair is not sitting here have to argue the course of what is naturally in front of us, and we could already be so much further along in the process.
But why do we have to argue at all?
That is a good question. That is my question, actually, because I'm respectfully honoring the process and respectfully honoring
versions of the policy. So if I would like to make a motion that we take this that you brought to us, this, home, and look at it, and then you take this and you put it on the website as an attachment for a study session in April. And our April meeting be this policy. We all come with our own amendments.
You had that opportunity before, by the way.
And it is 6 o'clock.
You had that opportunity before this meeting. You had the same opportunity. I took this weekend and I wrote down comments because my responsibility is discussing this. So what is your motion? What is your motion? I forgot that you started off with the word motion. There was a hand up before you started the motion conversation. But I do want to respect getting to answer her hand up because she actually had her hand up. But go ahead and
So
state your
it's
motion
my
again.
motion that we take this with your stuff home, and this is the one. No other things come to us as a different attachment or anything different. No other things come to us different.
That also means
not one word, not one red strike, nothing. This is what gets published on the public website.
So
And
if you're going to say this, I want you to say a clean and clear motion, first of all. But secondly, that means that anything that y'all have that is a discussion and thought to what this is, you better put it out too. Because all this is Erica bringing some thoughts to the table because I responsibly read through this and did my job of preparing for this meeting where we were supposed to be discussing this policy. So because it was not prepared that way by others, as far as I see, then because I came as a professionally have gone through this and made some notes to what I was supposed to read, and I simply made it easier for you to see it. You are now wanting to put my thoughts out there, and nobody else has to post theirs.
we can have it in the
We
work
all have to
study.
have that to you by a certain point.
In the work study.
I just want to go on record what you are actually saying, because it means you did not come prepared with the information in front of you for the meeting of what the
Madam
agenda
Chairman,
said.
you are presuming that I am not prepared. You are presuming I've read nothing. You are presuming that I have thought nothing. You are presuming that I am not here prepared.
Okay.
And
I apologize
no,
for
ma'am.
presuming
And
those things.
further, if I may, multiple times we have asked for paper copies and paper packets, but we can't seem to get them. We have to print off all of our stuff at home by ourselves because the library board has no budget to do this. But somehow or another, there was budget enough for this.
That I brought in?
Yes.
From
you did that yourself?
I did that myself.
Well, that is wonderful, and I think we should charge it to the libraries.
I won't. I've been doing
it.
it for 3 years. I will not be doing that because
But we
that's just part of
should,
it.
because it is the board's it's our working product.
It's a working
okay.
product when we sit here and discuss through it and actually get to share the thoughts behind what the comments are. Yes.
We're off
Thank
the
you
mark.
for raising your hand.
I'm a breastfeeding mom. My child is hungry.
You got their attention.
We have a new board member here now. We didn't previously when we voted on the initial motion that was made, that was stalemate, I guess wasn't passed. Can I make a motion to revisit the previous motion, which would need to be restated if someone's taking minutes? Now with Steve here, it would either not pass again or pass. But my child's hungry.
This does not have to be rescinded or anything because that was a motion for adding it to the agenda. It's here so you can create a motion.
So that's my motion, is to take this, bring it back in April, the April meeting be a work study. And this is all we do. This is all we do.
Second.
All right, so let's call it to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. So 4-3 is what I just saw. So yay. It's now been passed to be moved to April
8th. April 8th. It will be a work study only.
All right, and then this brings us to the treasurer's report. The treasurer could not be here. The director's reports, Gallatin.
It feels like a real hostile environment to give this report. And if y'all got any questions for me, just let me know.
Okay,
Did you get one of
Hendersonville.
those?
Thank you.
So I was asked to bring a plan for extended hours. So I created a plan and supposed to submit it today. So each of you guys should have a copy of this and you can read through it. When we had the meeting last week, our budgets were already prepared, so, that was a surprise, for me. However, in my budget, I had asked, that I submitted, I had asked for one additional, full-time person and one additional part-time person. So as long as I get that, okay, as long as the commission approves, we've already figured out how to work it with the hours, and so the money is, I mean.
It's all there.
But now I do need, direction as to, I know like each city, gives, the libraries money. I've kind of tried to research through files, that were left in the office, and it seems like, Hendersonville sends out something in February is what it said, a form that anybody who wants to fill it out. Yes, ma'am.
So go ahead and fill that out, but I've notified finance.
Okay.
Everybody that's on finance in the city of Hendersonville that we voted unanimously to give you the 8 hours.
Okay.
So they meet March 24th, and the finance, I don't know how they collect their stuff, but the contact, I will get that to you.
Okay.
Because I'll find out exactly how you do that.
Yes, I would love that.
But they are expecting it
Okay,
for
so-
their nonprofit line item.
And
Yes.
so in the past, I think it's like 50,000, and they had said if we extended the hours, they would be willing to up it to
70.
70. And so I included that in the little plan. So I've got some like notable mentions here, like this has to happen in order for this. But we have several different scheduling options, and it seems completely doable. And none of my staff are having to work beyond their 40 hours. So it's just they're doing it differently. So,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And
Yes.
we had a staff meeting that was already scheduled for this morning. And so I didn't give them like detail, but I did think it was fair that they knew that it was going to be discussed. And I didn't get pushback. But I gave them some assurances. I said, you're not going to be asked to work, more. We're going to take what we've come up with and we're going to adapt it. We're going to put the human element in it. So it's going to be fine. And they didn't at least give me pushback. I don't know what they're going to buy my back, but they were good.
And I read this, so thank you. It's very positive. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For taking this with like a champ. Thank you.
All right, Millersville?
The packet, there's nothing outside of normal information that I give every month. We are doing a collection development survey in our community. We've been doing it since January, it's going through the end of March, so that we know what people in our community want us to buy, so that will help us develop the internal procedures and processes for our collection development. The information, if you're interested in filling out the collection development policy, is on our Facebook page. Yes, ma'am.
How is your new counting system? Bean?
Oh,
What's it-
Beanstack.
yes.
Yes, we went live on Beanstack on March 1st.
Oh, did you?
and
Okay.
It was so much fun. We are getting ready we have it up. Our first reading challenge is for next week for spring break. And it's related with animal tales and reading animals, because we've got animal tales coming for our big event on Wednesday at 10:30 at the Millersville Community Center. And so staff are really excited. We're talking, a lot of our families already have been using Beanstack, so now they can just add our library card in. There's no cost to the public. They are required to have a Millersville library card to access it because it is paid out of our budget.
Right.
And I'm super duper excited. It's gonna cut down on a lot of staff time that we spend with paper reading logs that we've been doing. And I'm in talks with the school librarian at MES, and we're going to work on doing group readings so that students in the classroom can have challenges against other students in the school and get them, because they are a Title I school, and so we're working on getting that reading development up. So
Good.
we've got lots of things. I'm so sorry I forgot about
No,
that.
good. No, I'm glad you had something
Millersville
happy.
Library and Millersville City has always had a wonderful relationship.
Thank you for sharing that. All right, Westmoreland, Portland's not here, so Westmoreland.
I know y'all are tired and babies need to be fed, but you will have my reports. If you have any questions or would like to visit Westmoreland, I would love for you all to have it. Lots of new things are happening. One thing I do want to put on your radar to kind of follow up on the Portland MOU. I kind of would like that for Westmoreland, a friends thing. I don't know if we could standardize that. I haven't really spoken to the other libraries, but I think fundraising and the MOU is a big deal.
Yeah, and once we put that through legal, I guess we will.
Okay.
That would be a good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, appreciate that. And then Red River Regional?
Yes, I will be so brief. I emailed y'all my report. There are clickable links if you'd like to explore more. The only thing I really want to address is I sent all of y'all a copy of the board appointment form. I'm not sure how accurate this is based on we put this together in the beginning of the fiscal year, so there may be some changes. The only reason we sent it to y'all for this meeting is to put it on your radar in case anybody's rolling off or a term expires at the end of this fiscal year to think about getting together and identifying who could nominate or identify names for the nominating committee to appoint a new board member or to talk to the commission about it. So just keeping that on your radar. I did want to recognize 3 staff members from Westmoreland that completed the core competencies program. We're really excited for them. They're all brand new. So they get a state of Tennessee certificate, which I'll give to Angie. And they also get a pin that says Certified Public Library Staff. So thank you for doing that. It's a lot of work.
Good job.
And we're proud of them. So please thank them from us. And then that's all I think that's of note. But thank you.
Thank you. Before we adjourn, I would like to read something. So dear board members and public, I want to inform you of a decision that I have had to make. I'm needing to humbly step down as chair, effective immediately. I have been so honored to be nominated and trusted with this position. I really meant to lead us in the best ways I could through June. My dedication and desire have not wavered, even though my body, heart, and mind are fighting a difficult battle you can't see. But my deep grief and some new news of a dear family member's cancer diagnosis last week has been smacking me in a way that is making daily happenings really difficult right now. I'm sorry, this is so unprofessional. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. Don't worry about that. It's okay.
My struggles have taken me a bit by surprise, and I'm not where I can effectively lead as I have been trying to. My stepping down as chair and relieving the pressures and demands by doing that, it is my intention to serve out the remaining few months of my term, if possible, which is the end of June. Thank you for your support and encouragement this year as I've faced the loss of my grandson, who would have been 1 year old last week, and other losses. And thank you for your compassion, and truly I mean that to the public greatly. Thank you for your compassion and understanding with this difficult decision to step down as chair. And Mike as vice chair will take up the lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you.
Erica, let me ask you, I'm going to leave here and go to a Wednesday night prayer meeting. If it's all right with you, I'll put your name on the list before the prayer is taken.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It has been a great honor, and I've tried to do this with a lot of respectful, professional transparency. And I know that in this room, not just this board, but in this room, we have a lot of differing opinions, and that is okay. I have tried to do this to the best I can,
though I've come to some halting spots in my own life. So thank you. And with that, I will entertain a motion to
Make a motion to
adjourn. So there's one.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you.